future has changed so much over the last 50 years. It is a momentous occasion because we are stepping into a new era.
First Nations people have been talking to us, and we are listening to their voices because they have such a profound attachment to the earth.
I think it's time. I think it's time we really started understanding that as we move forward, we need to do so together.
And we're going to be building a great future for our people.
Welcome to Season 2 of Voices of SHISHALH. And I think the biggest improvement we've made on this show is my ever-increasing ability to pronounce the name of the nation, SHISHALH. I'm getting better. We've had a remarkable summer, Chief, and as you're the host of this show, outside of the fact that we contributed greatly during the fire season, BluEarth is now coming on board, and the nation is now an owner, a full participant. And we had the arts crawl. You and I went to Jimmie Creek and had a look at how the world might work. And we were hosted by Chief DeLorme and not Grand Chief, but Regional Chief GOTTFRIEDSON. So it's been a remarkable summer. It seems something is happening almost every week. But if you put it all together, probably the biggest impact was felt politically. Would you not agree?
Well, for sure. I think what's changed the country is that we have a new government, we have a new federal government, the Liberals, and we more or less predicted that a year ago by having Justin Trudeau on our show. But more important, I think, the accomplishments that we had this summer was the opening of the new Child Development Center, which is the beginning of the healing and bringing our people up and forward and lifting our people up. And we did travel to Jimmie Creek, which is in Klahoose. Klahoose is about 150 miles from here. Up the inlet, there are neighbors, the Klahoose people. And we went to visit their development, their hydro development. It was phenomenal. They're doing great strides in terms of providing not only employment, but careers for their people. So that's a long-term project. They were in 2 phases while we're there. In about 2-3 years, they're going to do their own phase, which is going to be totally 100% owned by the Klahoose people.
That's probably the key, 100% owned. And would you say that that is your goal in the short term?
Most definitely. You know, the band is just beginning to do a joint venture with BluEarth on our development, and that'll begin in the new year. Our people are already preparing. They're signing up for different positions, various contracts. That is being promoted as we speak.
I think probably the thing that was most insightful when we went to Klahoose, the Jimmie Creek project, is that First Nations people are getting into the management of these projects. It's not just the labor end of it. They're attracting, they're educating themselves so that they can run these operations.
Yeah, that's true. They're getting firsthand of how to run an operation, a BC Hydro system like that, which is promoted by Clean Energy BC, and it's a good facility that will provide energy for the future, and I think they're got a first-hand knowledge of how to run an operation like that, so they're encouraged by planning to build their own third phase in the very near future.
As always, when we went, we took our cameras. This is what happened on the Jimmie Creek project when Chief went to have a look at how they're doing it and maybe pick up some tips on how this nation can also benefit by their experience.
"70 years ago, I was living here. I was 1 year old, and my dad was the head foreman here with a huge logging company. I'm really happy to be back here again. It's a whole new era, a whole new life. I'm really happy that the Klahoose have taken advantage of tapping into the resources, the many resources a lot of our land and a lot of our people have, and they're sharing that for the province and building new energies for their people, building new employment for their people, and it's a whole new way of life for them.
We're
going to take a tour through the Run River project with Alterra and Klahoose and SHISHALH and the regional chief, and show them our territory and show them how successful this project has been.
At the very minimal level, employment, of course, for our members. There's training opportunities, but then you go even further, and there's infrastructure that we put in. We've created more opportunities for our businesses. So now we do camp services. We also do like the fuel farm. We do the barging. So logistics. Not only that, but the management side of things. So every aspect of this project. In most First Nations, they're either a partner with somebody, but they have a limited control over what goes on. Klahoose, this is our project, and we try to get as much opportunity out of it as possible. So it's so vast, the opportunity and the benefits that come to the nation. Not just and of course there's an economic benefit from our agreement, but it's just you can see it. It's the happy people employed, and and the project is a success.
So Shannon, I'm happy to be here today. I want to know, there's a lot of opportunity here, but how did you go about in bringing this to the people and helping them to prepare for a major project like this?
Well, the first thing is to build capacity within your community, ensure that our people are aware of the opportunities such as funding and grants that are available, in addition to scholarships. There's many apprenticeship opportunities for a project such as this. A lot of red seal opportunities, a lot of non-red seal opportunities, and advancement also for employers. There's tax credits, there's all sorts of completion grants for the apprentice as well.
In terms of longevity, this could turn into like 10 years or more, or even a career for a lot of the people, right?
Being an apprentice is a skill that you can carry with you for generations, and you can pass it on to other generations as well, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and that's truly amazing. So if people wanted to plan their whole career, this is a good beginning.
It definitely is.
Yeah, definitely. I think the leadership role that Klahoose have taken in terms of controlling all the contractors that are coming, all the resources that are coming into their territory, they're turning that into long-term development for their band members in terms of companies, corporations that will operate here in the territory for a long term. What they're creating here is what we're going to duplicate at the Three River Run and Narrows Inlet at SHISHALH. And we're going to be building a great future for our people, similar to here.
Yeah, my mother lived up here when she first got married. She would be just so amazed. When she passed away, she was 82.
Whoa.
And she told me all about living up here. So, and she made me promise, when the project gets started, she said, you make sure you get as many of the family up there to work.
Great.
And I did.
That's super, Mavis.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you.
So, it's been really an awesome experience.
It's a reality of good leadership. It's a reality of a partnership. But at the end of the day, our people are having jobs, and we're stimulating the economy. When people say our First Nations participate in an economy, our First Nations are a part of the economy, this is a reality that, you know what, when partnerships are created, everybody benefits, and this is how you get things done. Everybody's always concerned about what will happen to the ecosystem, the fish, the wildlife. Can you tell us a little bit about what the actual impacts are?
Sure, they're actually pretty minimal. Like, we locate our projects so that they're not on fish-bearing streams, so there's no impact to fish. We work in a sort of the minimum impact environment that we can, so our footprint is as small as we can get it. We have people that monitor to make sure we don't have sediment or anything getting into the water courses. And then, the projects themselves are non-impactful. They don't take anything away from the environment. They're renewable. There's no exhaust pipe that comes out of them. All the water that comes in goes right back at the bottom of the falls, so they're low-impact projects.
So when you look at the grizzly bears we've seen today,
Yeah.
has a little bit of impact on the grizzly bears cycle, but other than that,
there's areas in the valley where there are grizzly bears, and we actually avoid those. So there's that area down below there. It's a great spot to build a run of the river plant, but because of the grizzly bear habitat there, that's an area we would avoid and not building a plant there.
Yeah, we see you guys take great pride and look at remediation over the sites that you've been. Can you tell us a little bit about when you look at the remediation over the actual pipe when it's buried?
Sure. So once the penstock's all buried, we actually take stumps and other material, we put it over top of the gravel, and then we plant grass on it. So a lot of the areas now have already been remediated. We try to make it look as if it was originally when it was before we even came here. So you'll see a lot of the areas when the area is all cleaned up, when the project's done, the impact is actually much smaller than what we see today.
Incredible landscape, incredible landscape, an incredible project. You guys should be proud of yourself. When you look at what this project can do and a number of other projects throughout the province, it totally begs the question, is the reality of Site C realistic for the Peace River? When I look at a project like this and the alternative energies of green energy, this is the way of the future. I think if we look after the land will provide for us, and look at the many generations of work that's been done in this territory. I think the resources will provide for their future generations for many, many years to come.
So we got to take a break. We got to add some wood to our fire, and after we have this break, we'll add another story on. How's that?
Welcome back to the Longhouse. This is season 2 of Voices of SHISHALH. And Chief, watching that Jimmie Creek video, it's really very much a blueprint for how your vision is going to unfold with BluEarth. They said to us that they don't have much of the dissension that was in their band before because everybody's working and they've got full employment. And whatever your skill is, it seems to be able to find a place in the Jimmie Creek project. Is that how you envisage it working here with BluEarth?
Yeah, I think it was encouraging to see the Jimmie Creek, how that rolled out for our neighboring band. And I think that's how our project will roll out, where it provides hundreds and hundreds of employment. It provides opportunity for all of our local contractors. It provides opportunity for young people to start building a career. And the careers can vary from being a plumber to a painter to a carpenter to being an electrician or even becoming an engineer. Those are all opportunities that are ahead of our people. They just have to find their way, and we will help them get to that spot. We will help them gain those careers. If it takes 2, 3, 5 years, then here's an opportunity. It's a great opportunity. I wish I was a younger man. I would jump all over that opportunity. But it's going to be exciting. We're going to use the template that Klahoose laid out. It's very clean. It's run professionally, and the people are very happy. The whole village is working, and it's phenomenal.
This is the first job fair for the Narrows Inlet Hydro Project, or if I can say it correctly, the elders have now called it Tums Siamqua, which means Our Strong Waters. So we've got the camp contractor here, and then we've got the roads and bridges contractor here, as well as the owners, BluEarth and SHISHALH Nation. So it's pretty exciting because it's our first opportunity to actually sign people up for jobs. Our goal is actually to maximize employment and contracting with the membership. That's something that's really important to us and to the owners of the project. So that's the idea.
Hey, my name is Bernie Pierre here, and I'm here for the job fair and check out the job opportunities for the Narrows Inlet project. And it's actually a good positive outcome for the community here. We must have like 50 plus people, and we're actually here in the lineup for an interview.
I'm really interested in working for the Narrows Inlet project. There's lots of positions that I'd like to apply for and help out with.
This is a small hydro or run-of-river project, which means we're making electricity without burning any fossil fuels, without using nuclear or anything like that. So it is green. It relies on natural fall of the water going through turbines. This is a pretty big project, though. It's 33 megawatts total when it's all done, so that's quite a lot of power. And that means that this area will be making an even more significant contribution to the green power within this province.
We just got awarded the roads and bridges contract. So what we're doing is we're interviewing members of the nation to get them involved within the contract and see what positions we can offer them. We look for experienced, of course, but we also do look for unskilled workers, because that way we can get them involved in the construction industry, introduce them into it. We also are a sponsor with the ITA programs. One of the main apprenticeships we offer is carpentry. So we like to bring people in and get them to start taking schooling and get them through the ITA to get them in a better position for forward, so longevity within the industry. So far, I think it's a great success. I mean, it's busy. A lot of people from the community came out, so I'm quite pleased with it. It looks good, and it looks like the future opportunities are going to be really, really great.
I think another thing that you have said on this show and whenever you're gathered is not forgotten in all this business and employment and opportunity is the power of the culture of the nation. And I saw, and we sent our cameras in again, just how powerful art speaks of the culture of the SHISHALH. And we had an art crawl here in SHISHALH. I spent most of my time outside this longhouse with people like Tony Paul, and Shane Jackson explains how that art, it's not just art, it's a spoken language, and it's a written language, and it's telling a story every time you look at it.
Well, of course, art is the main part of our culture, similar to our language. It's an expression of who our people are, not only vocally but descriptively. It's on the pictoglyphs up and down the inlet that are signs of where our people have been, and it's signs of the areas that we protect for various reasons. I think the art crawl here this summer was phenomenal. I attended just about every event. The dancing here, the dancing at the Ravenscry Theatre was very impressive. It was modern dancing, and it was the first time I ever got to experience that. And I intend on going next year.
If you want to know more about it, watch this next story. Our reporter is Shane Jackson. He was not only a participant in the art crawl with various objets d'art that he is able to produce, but he also explains the story. And we're in the longhouse, but the area you're going to go to is just outside. And it was beautifully, beautifully done and beautifully displayed, as you'll see.
This is part of the Arts Festival and the Arts Crawl. This is SHISHALH First Nations' contribution to it. And we've got some fantastic artists here. We've got Tony Paul, Canis Campo, Cheyenne Waters, Jamie Jeffries, Tony Paul over there, who's fantastic carver, works pretty much primarily in cedar. Cheyenne Waters, she weaves a whole smorgasbord of hats and bags and headbands and things out of cedar. And a few down, Jamie Jeffries, he's a carver, and he carves some amazing plaques, again, out of cedar. So it's easy not to get too far away from cedar when you're SHISHALH, because we're cedar people. And, you know, it's kind of in our blood. Well, I try and do everything out of cedar, so from the big wall panel in the back of the bears, or in our language, the mayok, you know, the small little baby bentwood boxes, to the large bentwood boxes, to I've got fruit bowls. This was our latest invention. It's made out of yellow cedar, and it's a little bee refuge, so the bees live in it. This jewelry is based on our traditional wooden jewelry, which would be huge. You know, it's a real Flavor Flav kind of, big stuff. So we've kind of shrunk it down to human size, and everyone has a meaning based on our traditional meaning. So like the raven's the trickster, the moon is the dreamer, the eagles are the leaders, the hummingbirds the nurturers, that type of thing. All our work has sort of, aside from an aesthetic value, has a sort of communication value as well. I think the way I define art in general, not necessarily native art, is the conveyance of meaning by other means. So whether it's writing other than prose, like poetry or songwriting or everything, you're trying to get across something that can't be gotten across through regular sort of communication means. So, and artwork is like that as well. Now, I'm not talking about Indigenous art. Indigenous art actually is a written language. So it's something that, you know, if you can understand the symbolism, you can get across something in a very direct manner, you know. So it's something that's really been lost, you know, obviously through history with the residential schools and actually literally outlawing our artwork and cultural stuff. If you look into here, you'll see a little Coast Salish eye. Well, these represent the eyes of our ancestors, and they're always upon us. It's almost like a little big brother thing, you know? You want to do well because your ancestors are always looking at you. And it's everywhere. I could talk for an hour on just about the Coast Salish eye and, you know, the presence that are, you know, of our ancestors around us. If you take the number 4 is a very sacred number to us as well. So you'll see a lot of 4s. So that represents, you know, the 4 seasons, the 4 stages of life, infant, youth, you know, adult, elder, the 4 directions. And what the 4 directions means, in Coast Salish culture, our strength was built on our acceptance of other people. We would take the best of what everybody else had to offer and make ourselves stronger by that. So we would never shun anybody else's culture. We would bring them in and go, oh, you do it this way? That's fantastic. That's a great way of doing it, you know? You should join us and maybe we can compare notes, which is in direct contrast to a lot of the colonial way of doing things, which is our way is the only way, and by the way, your way is illegal now. So things are changing, people's points of view have changed, you know. I would say most people don't think like that anymore, which is fantastic, because we can start kind of where we left off, which is bring in new cultures, bring in the best of what you have to offer, especially in Canada. In this country, I mean, I always consider myself so proud to be part Coast Salish, you know, and have European roots as well, because it really is the best of what we all had to offer, you know, and now everybody's starting to get it. So our history, our culture, our worldview, and even our laws are codified into the artwork. So you'll see a lot of that here. You'll see a lot of our stories and our symbolism and everything ingrained into the artwork. Our artwork is the blueprint of our culture, so it's why we need to protect it.
Art's a very important element to our culture and the way of our people. It not only is descriptive and expressive in nature for our people, but it provides not only healing to our people, but it provides us to create different forms in our clothing, in our drums, and our carving. So the visions that come to all artists come in different forms. And it's great to see that our people are starting to recognize that and pick up that gift that was passed down by our ancestors.
The last segment of the show is really a tribute to a lot of people who pulled this community together during probably one of the worst fire seasons ever. And there wasn't anybody here looking over at that fire that wasn't very concerned that it would jump. And unfortunately, one man lost his life, John Fair, while he was fighting that fire. And Chief, you nominated him for an award, which is posthumous, but still very much well received by his family.
Yeah, I commend the provincial government for providing him with that award. The man obviously lost his life, and he was doing that while he was fighting the fire. He was a volunteer, and I think not only does John need to have that award, but his family does too, because all of his life he was that kind of a person who volunteered for many, many things, and he gave his life for it in the end, and he had to be commended for it. But a lot of people in our community had to be commended because they participated by providing meals and food and clothing to help with the effort to fight the fire. And it was nothing that was attributed to the provincial government. The whole community took on that role.
Let's have a look at the work of the community and how this was such a concerted effort by hardworking people who provided meals for the firefighters so they could go back into battle. And we had our cameras there, and you can see that when a community cares, it says something about the integrity and soul of that community. And if that was a test, this community passed.
Tonight we are serving spaghetti, macaroni, Caesar salad. We have a variety of salads, garlic bread, hot wings, and variety of drinks and desserts. It all started with a simple post on our SHISHALH webpage. I just put it out there to our community members. It would be good if we could host a dinner for all our firefighters that are trying so hard to put out the fire up in the inlet there. I sat there for a couple of hours, and then I had a friend, Selena, and a cousin, Tina, put their posts on there and added to it. And it just went from there. It exploded, and it was overwhelming with all the volunteers who are stepping in and our community members that are chipping in today, and it's a great thing.
Today we donated 10 dozen eggs, 4 loaves of bread, and a case of breakfast sausages. Yeah, when I went to buy the eggs, I was at the till, and a couple of people behind me were asking what all the eggs and the bread were for. And they said, oh, that's a lot of scrambled eggs and toast. I told them it was for the firefighters, and then everybody around was asking what, how it was going, and said that was great. And Clayton's gave me the sausages at a decent price too, because we told them what it was for. So everybody's jumping on board to help.
We have numerous donations coming in from everybody, our whole community. People are dropping off stuff. It's just an overwhelming experience with all the donations that are coming in today with the gift cards so we can do shopping for breakfast and lunch and dinner. People are dropping off desserts, water, juice, etc. We needed to open our doors as a community to give back to them because our restaurants close very early around here and are very small. There's large crews coming in, and we just wanted to accommodate more than 10 or 12 to give them a good meal. And here we are.
And that's our show for today. We'll see you back real soon. Thanks for watching.
The future has changed so much over the last 50 years. It is a momentous occasion because we are stepping into a new era.
First Nations people have been talking to us, and we are listening to their voices because they have such a profound attachment to the earth.
I think it's time. I think it's time we really start understanding that as we move forward, we need to do so together.
And we're going to be building a great future for our people.